Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Arsenal. It's time for the big one. Arsenal against Real Madrid in the Champions League quarterfinal. I've never ever been able to say that. That's the first time you're saying that since 2006. The last time we played Real Madrid in the Champions League. I didn't watch that game. I hadn't finished my science homework and I had school the very next day. So that's how long it has been. It's been long, but this time back-to-back quarterfinals in the Champions League, and it's a big one this time. You're basically playing the giants of European football. And we're hoping it's going to be a good game. I know most of you watching this preview are expecting us to lose, whether you're an Arsenal fan, whether you're a different team's fan. You expect us to lose, most of you. But I'm still excited to go towards the game. The Premier League has been boring for us this season. That's just the truth, apart from a few games. But for the Champions League, I'm excited for this. I'm excited to see how you're going to cope with this pressure, how you're going to play against Real Madrid, how is it going to be, how are you going to defend against them with all that attacking power, and can we actually expose some of their weaknesses in this game? Because right from the start, Real Madrid, out of the last 15, 16 games, they've kept 2 clean sheets. So they concede goals. But for us, the problem is we don't score enough goals. So I've seen I think it was ESPN or something saying it's a great attack versus a great defense, poor attack versus poor defense. Yeah, basically we're the poor attack, they're the poor defense, they're the great attack with the great defense. So which one is going to prevail in this one? And most importantly, the experience. Will the experience tell a lot? It probably will. So that is where we are going to need to be very professional and very good in both games, because Real Madrid, 7 years ago, if we played Real Madrid 7 years ago, when they had Ronaldo and Bale and, Asensio and Isco, and we had, the players we had those years, Real Madrid would beat us 8 goals on aggregate. Now, that's not expected to happen right now. That will not happen right now. So it will be closer than what it was what it would have been 7 years ago. But it could be more painful, because in my head, I'm thinking what could happen, what could definitely happen, or what might happen is Arsenal will probably have 10 chances at home, will score 1, and then Real Madrid will get 3 chances and then they'll score 2. That is what I'm thinking. Over the 2 legs, we'll probably have 70% possession at home. Madrid will have 30, but when they get the ball, they're going to be way more dangerous than us. So that is why I'm hoping that we can actually take the chances we get and we can actually create chances in this game. So let's first talk about us and then we talk about Madrid. So this season in the Champions League has been good. The Champions League season has been great. Good, not great, but good for us. It's been better than the League One. Obviously, we enjoyed those wins against teams like Sporting, against PSG, against Monaco. Those games are great. We are creating multiple chances in those games. And in the round of 16 as well, 7 goals against PSV. That was also exciting, very interesting game to watch. Very, very happy with the results there. But now it's the big boys. Now it's Real Madrid, and are they looking at us the same? Hey, 15 Champions League titles between us, the 2 teams. Come on, we both have done really, really well in this competition. But I think it's the biggest test of the season. Is it a bigger test than Bayern Munich last season? I would say yes. Bayern Munich heading into that game last season weren't that great, and actually going into that game against Bayern last season, we were very good. We were scoring a lot of goals in the Premier League. This time we're coming into this Real Madrid game very differently. But in the league, we rested players the other day, so that shows you that we're really focused on this competition. I mean, to win this competition, you don't have to be perfect. You have to be very good. Yes, you have to score goals. You have to defend well, and you need a bit of luck as well on the way. For example, when Chelsea won it in 2012, Messi missing a penalty, Robben missing a penalty, such. You'll need some kind of luck to win this competition as well. Now, we've only been close to winning it once, but if something happened and you won this competition this season, I'm imagining, because this season has been very poor for us and everyone is so down right now in the mood and all that. So you have to give it your all. None of us is expecting to win this competition, but if that happened in a different world, just imagine the good feeling heading into the transfer window, heading into next one. That would be big. But before you get there, you'll have to get past Real Madrid. You'll have to get past either PSG or Aston Villa, and you'll have to get past probably a very good Barcelona team or a Bayern team or an Inter Milan team. So you still have 5 very big games. But before you get there, we had to deal with Real Madrid at home. What do we do well? We definitely defend very well. But unfortunately, Gabriel is now injured. Whoever steps up, I'm going to have my lineup later. We need them to be at the top of their game. I don't think we come up against this kind of attack often. I don't think so. With Vinicius and Bellingham and Mbappe and Rodrigo and Endrick and Gul and all these guys, Valverde, it's not going to be easy. We don't often come up against an attack like this. Like for us, how many options do we have attacking wise? Now that Saka is back, that's great. Maybe 3 or 4 or something. Real Madrid have like 7 or 8 options going forward. So they've definitely stacked up their attack. That is the kind of level I want us to be in attacking wise. I want us to, have Mbappe in the starting lineup, and then you look at the bench, Rodrigo is there. That's the kind of level I want us to get to. We have to have top players in the starting lineup, top players on the bench from next season, hopefully. So the 2 positions that we are better than Real Madrid is defensively and also I don't know. Midfield, it's tough. I think midfield it could be equal. I mean, Odegaard hasn't been playing well, but Rice has incredible energy and he's very, very good. And Partey has been very good for us this season. For them, I don't know who's going to play. Bellingham is definitely going to play. I don't know if it's going to be Tchouaméni or Camavinga, if they're going to play defensively. I don't know how they're going to work it out for this game. But if they have their usual midfield, if they have the big players like, Bill Bellingham and Tchouaméni there, Modric will probably not start. Usually when they have those players, they're a very good team. But the one area that definitely stands out for us is defensively. We are very good defensively, even with Gabriel out, we need to find a way. We definitely need to find a way, and we have a good goalkeeper. They also have a very good goalkeeper. Courtois has been out, and Lonin has been out. They've used their that choice for goalkeeper last time, so hopefully for us that is still the case. But defensively, they've had a lot of injuries with Carvajal, and Alaba has been out. He's back now. Militao has been out, so they've had to play Valverde at right back. They've had to play Tchouaméni defensively. They've had to play Camavinga defensively, and that is the one weakness I've seen Real Madrid saying they have. Their fullbacks. Real Madrid have problem with fullbacks, and that is their weakness. So if that is the case, we have to take advantage of that. Now, thankfully, Saka is back. I don't know how fit he is, and Martinelli has been great the last 2 games. So to give ourselves a chance starting from the first leg going, because we have to have a result going into the second leg. We can't lose this one. If you lose this one, it's pretty much over. It's quite impossible to go to Real Madrid in the Champions League quarterfinal and to overturn it. That would be miraculous. You have to have an advantage. So one position that we need to take advantage of is Saka and Martinelli, the wingers. We have to take on the fullbacks, whoever is playing, whether it's Valverde playing at right back, whether it's Lucas, whether it's Tchouaméni at left back, whoever is playing in those positions, we have to take advantage of those positions because that is their weakness. And if you look at the number of goals they've been conceding, they conceded 3 against 2 against Man City, 2 against Leganes. They conceded 2 against Leganes again, 4 against Real Sociedad recently. They lost to Valencia over the weekend, 2-1 at home, and Valencia hadn't won an away game all season. But hey, we know Real Madrid in the Champions League is a different breed. But even in the Champions League this season, they had to go through the playoffs against Man City, so they weren't great in the Champions League so far this season neither. But what they do have in this stage of the Champions League is a lot of experience. That's why I said we can actually play better than them in both legs, but they could easily find a way. Then you look at the final score, the game is 4-2 and game is over, and they only had 4 chances and they scored all 4 of them. I don't expect us them to dominate us like what they would 7 years ago. We'll have possession. We even will create chances, but how many of those chances we'll create? We also have to take advantage from set pieces. They have Rudiger, who's very good as well, but that is what we'll need to do, because the moment if it gets to like 40th minute and we've missed a lot of chances and it's still 0-0 and they start getting counter-attack chances, that will be the problem. So for us as well, that will be the scary part. When Mbappe starts running towards in behind Kivio, does he have the pace to catch up? If it's Ben White at right back, for example, if Vinicius gets past Ben White and Ben White gets an early yellow card, that would be a big problem. Even if it's Timber, if he picks up an early yellow card, that's a big problem. And they have the pace and they have better quality than us going forward. They can score more goals than us. So we have to take advantage of any chances that we get. They concede a lot of goals, 2, 3, 4, all these weeks. But another thing they do is they score a lot of goals themselves. So they also scored against Valencia. They also scored 3 against Mallorca. They also scored 5 against Celta Vigo. They also scored 4 against Las Palmas. They also conceded 5 against Barcelona, by the way. They also scored 3 against Man City. Both legs against Man City, home and away, they scored 3-3. So they're a very good team in terms of scoring goals. So that is why we are going to really miss Gabriel. So it will be very impressive to see how we approach this game. Are we going to try and win the first leg, try and defend the second leg? Are we going to try and keep it tight and, have, if there's the most goals in these 2 legs is maybe 2 or 3 in total on aggregate? Is that how we're going to approach this game? Because what you're supposed to do is to kind of try and defend well and try to outscore them, because they're not great defensively. Because but still, if you try to outscore them, they're better than most teams going forward. So you're going to need to take your chances, and we don't create enough. So we're also going to have to be very solid defensively. Make sure if they score at the Emirates, the most they score is 1. That's what we'll need to do. And then when you go to their place, depending on what the result is, you're going to need to have a very, very complete day. You're going to need to have a very good 96 minutes over there to win that game. And listen, you need to do your job at home. Even if you win the home game 2-0 and lose away from home, as long as you're ahead in an aggregate, you're going to need to win your home game. We can't go there with a disadvantage. Otherwise, it's going to be impossible to overturn it over there. So with that said, though, Real Madrid will be looking at us and they'll be saying, Arsenal don't score many goals, so let's not worry too much about that. Can we, use more experience? We have Ancelotti, they have Arteta, we have Modric, they have Rice, they have way more experience than us. So maybe they're looking at it like that. But from what I saw, this came from a Real Madrid fan on X. I saw them saying they have problems on fullbacks, and also they expect Arsenal to dominate the possession. That is what they said in the midfield. So if that is the case, we better do it, because they definitely have a better attack than ours. And make sure to have an advantage after the first leg. That's the only way we can give ourselves a chance. So, if you finish this game like last season when we drew 2-2 with Bayern, it was always going to be so hard to go to Bayern and win. The crowd, it's like it's like you're locked up in the cage. If you go to Bernabeu with trailing 2-1 or something, it's very hard. But I'm still excited, and I wouldn't say I'm confident, but I'm hopeful. I can confidently say they're not going to come and beat us 3-0 and 5-1 on aggregate, anything like that. No, I'm saying it's going to be tight, but I'm hoping that the experience that they have doesn't cost us. We miss our chances and then they get 2 goals and it's over. That will be very painful. So hopefully we can do something in this game. But which players are going to do something? Which lineup have I gone for? Which lineup do I want to see? Very unfortunate to lose Gabriel. That is definitely a worry. Now that side, as we come to the lineup, that side is a bit of a worry. If Kivio starts, and Lewis Kelly is also young. So you have Lewis Kelly would probably play better with Gabriel. Lewis Kelly is very good, like on the weekend going forward, look very, very exciting. But there's obviously some defensive lapses there with him and Kivia. And I think that when he played Liverpool last year, when both of them came on, we considered such an easy goal. I think it was Salah scoring the second goal, and it was Lewis Kelly and Kivia playing together on that left side. So that is a bit of a worry. So actually, I wouldn't be surprised if I just decided to have Timber at left back and White at right back. I'd not be surprised if he did that, not because Lewis Kelly is bad, just because of that experience. I think he might do that. Or could he actually leave Kivia on the bench and have, Timber playing on the left side of Saliba just to help Lewis Kelly on that left side? Both of those two things could happen, because if you go with Lewis Kelly, Kivia, it's a bit scary. I cannot lie. It's a little bit scary. But that is what I've gone for. Crazy enough, that is what I've gone for. But I can't lie to you, I'm very worried about that side. Very worried, because Lewis Kelly, Kivio, Saliba and Timber, Kivio will have to play the game of his life. He'll have to have the best performance of his Arsenal career completely in that game, with Lewis Kelly left back as well. And Lewis Kelly decision making has to be correct, because no one can have defensive lapses over there. And I remember last season against Bayern, Kivia was the one to have a defensive lapse, and he considered, I think, a penalty, or we considered a second goal against Bayern. So that is a bit of a worry. So I've gone with Lewis Kelly, Kivia, Saliba, and Timber, but the reason I've gone for Kivia is just because he's a natural left-sided defender on that side. I do not want to change too many things and have Saliba on the left side and then have Timber on the right side of Saliba and then have Ben White at right back. I don't want to change 4 players just to fit in one player. I don't want to do that. So I just stuck with that, everyone in their position. But I'd not be surprised if Timber started at left back. So, and I wouldn't mind it anyway. But for the first leg, maybe Lewis Kelly starting is fine. But if you go have an advantage for the second leg, I think there could be some changes. I don't know. There could be some changes defensively. So Timber at right back, Saliba, Kivio, Lewis Kelly. And that is also because Ben White is not fully fit. I would have had him in my starting lineup, but Ben White is not fully fit. I'm a bit worried if you put him against Vinicius. That's another worry I have. Partey, Rice, and Odegaard in midfield, nothing changes there. And then up front, I'm going to go with Saka, Martinelli, and Merino. Now, Martinelli has to do a lot of defensive work as well. I'm glad he actually got rested for 45 minutes over the weekend, and you're going to need a big game from him. We've just said Madrid's weakness is the fullbacks, the fullback areas. Saka and Martinelli have to be good if that is the case. Now, the other interesting part is with Merino start up front, or will Trossard start up front? Would you guys start Trossard or Merino? For me, I'm going to stick with Merino, have that... I think he won 8 duels, the most of like any Arsenal player in like a lot of years over the weekend, and that is when he was playing in midfield and going for a debate. So up against Rudiger as well in that box, if you put in any crosses, you need Merino there. I'm going to keep him there, and also coming back to midfield and winning back the ball, he's good at that. So that is the lineup I've gone for. Obviously, on the bench, we are missing a few players as well because players like Sterling are suspended. Not that he was going to play in this one anyway. I don't think he would have played. But you have Trossard on the bench. You have White on the bench. I'd expect both of those players to come on. And then Jorginho maybe could come on, but I don't see any. Nwaneri maybe. So those are the 3 players I can see coming. I think we're going to use all 5 subs, maybe 4. Maybe Tierney could also come on for Lewis Kelly or someone, depending on how the game goes. But that's the lineup I have, and I'm hoping it works. So I've said Saka and Martinelli need to have a big game, but Kivy as well has to have a big game defensively up against Mbappe. Obviously, everyone has to have a big game. We'll need Odegaard to play better than he has this season and create chances, and any chance that falls on Merino, can he finish them, team up against Vinicius? All that is true, but Saka, Martinelli, we need to take advantage of their weaknesses, and Kivio needs to be very, very good in this game because you expect Madrid to try and take advantage of our weaknesses, so we need to do the same. I don't think you can just say, okay, let's defend and keep Madrid at 0. The chances of them not scoring this game is very low. So we'll have to score our goals as well. And I don't care how the goals come, whether it's penalties, whether it's set pieces, whether it's corners, whether it's Merino in behind, whether it's Martinelli, dropping on the front, then standing up and then crossing the ball, and then Odegaard hits a shot and it's deflected. However it's going to come, we need to have an advantage after the first game. So my prediction for this game, I've never had to predict Arsenal Real Madrid. So I think Real Madrid are definitely going to score. And I'm going to go for Real Madrid 1. Oh, what the hell? I'm going to go for it. Arsenal 2, Real Madrid 1 for the first leg. Please. It would be so sad if that game ended 3-0 and I was like, why the hell did I predict a win? I'm going to go for 2-1. I'm more worried about going to their place than them coming to our place. So maybe in that game, it's going to be a different prediction. I'm going to go for 2-1. I'm hoping we have an advantage after the first game to give us a bit of confidence. So that means Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard have to be very good. Hoping, really, really hoping so. 2-1 to Arsenal for the first leg, and then we'll talk about the second leg. If that happens, we might need to pack the bus. Who knows? What's your prediction? What's your starting lineup? Let's see, guys. Let's hope. 2-1 to Arsenal. Let's go for it. Saka to score, Merino to score. Let's go for it, man. Come on, Arsenal. Big game. Put aside everything we did in the Premier League. This is the Champions League. Let's hope we can perform well and imagine beating Real Madrid in the Champions League quarterfinal. Stuff dreams are made of.